Andy, there should be...
Let him talk.
Let him talk.
Virtual reality.
Hi, I'm Danny.
And I'm Evan.
And Evan, we are not done talking about Vanderpump and so many other of our favorite reality shows. And let the people know who's joining us this week to unhash it all.
We have none other than Tracie Morrissey. She is the host of the podcast Pot Psychology, but she is also a very astute Bravo viewer, and she has thoughts, feelings, opinions, and theories about Scandoval and the affair between Raquel and Tom Sandoval. So Tracie, welcome to the podcast. We cannot wait to get into it with you.
Thank you. Me neither. I'm not sick of talking about it yet. Weird.
I thought there would be a moment, but then I feel I just need a little nap and then a little new clip that gets me drawn right back in. Or I'm just scrolling online and I see people making fun memes, which I love, but then also having some things that I've never thought about changing my world, which I feel your Instagram is always doing that.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought after the final reunion I would be done, and I'm not.
So you have this theory that Raquel and Sandoval have been hooking up since 2019. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think they've been constantly hooking up since 2019. Okay. I think that's when they had a one night stand. And then they picked it up, the last, I don't know, year or so, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, whenever that was.
Okay,
so you are predicting pre-COVID cuddles right now. That's like they were doing the funeral for the lizard and everything like that.
Exactly, that season.
Wow. Okay, so what makes you think that the canoodling started then? Like, let's break this down.
Okay, season 8, episode 9. I went back and I did a rewatch when all this started to happen, and in a very embarrassingly short amount of time. And so season 8, episode 9 is the last season with the original gang. Mm-hmm. And Raquel, she was working at SUR, and James was still kind of being wild. And I remember when she said at the reunion when they broke up, the season 9 reunion when they broke up, that they hadn't been really intimate since those rage texts he sent her. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back and watch what happened then to see, if there was something. So I actually didn't spot this part. A girl who has a TikTok called Reality Ops, she spotted this part, and then I put the pieces together. Raquel's sitting around, she's talking to Dana and Danica.
What a throwback, talking to Dana.
Danica, she had to blow into a thing to get her car to go. Like I was robbed of her. So she's sitting around, rolling up the napkins, talking to them. She's like, I got really drunk last night. I went out with the girls. And then they show this really fast montage of her, Raquel being wasted, dancing and out with people. And it's such a quick flash. But if you pause it, you'll see that it's actually Tom Sandoval is doing it as a selfie video, and you see half of his face. And it's 100% him. It's very obvious it's him. And she's leaning on him and stuff. So she tells the girls when she's rolling up napkins, she's like, James got really mad. I came home and it just sounded a little too rehearsed. It just sounded very deliberate. She said, I went home and I left my phone in my purse on the kitchen counter, which is when I black out, I just I collapse and I don't know where I'm in. And she's like, and then I woke up to all these rage texts from James. James is calling her a slut and a whore and blah, blah, blah. And it seemed really in that context, before we knew anything, whatever, years ago, it just seemed there's James being a jerk again. Right. And then there's this scene, it's Ariana's birthday a couple episodes later, also in season 8. And James is talking to Raquel about the incident. And he mentions, and she almost talks over him when he does it. And he's like, but you shouldn't turn your phone off. So her phone was turned off. It wasn't on the kitchen counter in her purse. It was turned off. And then about 2 weeks after that, it was Sandoval's birthday party. And that was the first time she's used the lightning bolt in one of her Instagrams or whatever. when she's on her way to his birthday party. She was like being extra with like the lightning bolt. And that was 2019.
Oh my God. I mean, like, it sounds so conspiratorial, but also so believable. Like, now that you've broken it down, Tracie, like I am inclined to believe that there was something going on much earlier, and especially thinking about her, the way you said she sort of had this like rehearsed story. It sounded like the coaching had already began. She had her little carefully constructed narrative ready to go, and then you mentioned she was like talking over James to really kill whatever he was trying to put together. Wow, this is
so Sandoval. He kept saying this narrative of like, it happened once and then it didn't happen again for a long time. And even if we were just to believe that he meant that just about this season, like his actual like timeline of events was only like 4 weeks. So that's not like a long time. It's like it happened in August and then it happened again in September. So that's not like a long time. So I think there's like a nugget of truth there where it did happen once and then it didn't happen again for a long time. So that's kind of what I believe. Yeah. Also, if you notice on the season 9 reunion, when she breaks up with James, they actually pan to Sandoval and he's like, kind of scared. Like, and then he just starts laughing like really giddy and it's really weird. And they were like, why are you laughing about this? And he's like, I don't know. I'm just thinking about the engagement. And I think he was trying to like play it off, but like, I don't know. I feel like maybe he just couldn't contain himself or something. Like he was like giddy, like happy that it was like, I mean, I'm just like completely, that is like just, an imagined scenario, but maybe.
But I feel like also that would really track with him being like giddy because he loves thinking of himself as like this maniacal mastermind manipulator who can play all these things when he really can't even play a singular instrument well. So I don't really know what games he thinks he's winning, but it would really track that him thinking like, oh, Raquel's now falling into that. But now I'm so with our like just feeling like he always has the upper hand.
Has your opinion shifted at all after watching part 3?
I always blamed Sandoval more. And I never really liked him. I never really got it why Ariana was with him. She seemed like cool.
Schwartz I get for Katie, unfortunately, which is my third. Oh, I like understood why Katie stuck with Schwartz for so long because he has that charm, but Sandoval,
he's cute. Yeah, no, Sandoval is just like, oh, stop. That's so embarrassing.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your theory with us.
I know I cannot wait to like go deep dive even more and to just like continue watching you watch all reality TV.
Wow, that's like the best compliment I've ever gotten.
And yeah, while we can and have been for the past few months talking about Vanderpump Rules for so long, it is finally off the Bravo schedule programming, which makes me sad. But Evan, I'm happy because there's so many other amazing shows out there right now.
There's so many other amazing shows. I mean, there's The Real Housewives of Atlanta, The Real Housewives of Orange County, Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. Like there is a lot of incredible Bravo programming with no Toms, no Toms on the cast.
No Toms, but a lot of talk about just as dramatic type of things like Kim and Kroy, even though they're not on Atlanta. We still have to talk about them because I feel every Bravo fan and Bravo leb is talking about them. Like this divorce and the news that continues to come out is really shocking everybody.
It really is. And it just seems to be getting messier by the minute. And it's almost like the Bravo gods set this up perfectly for us. So it's like Scandoval's dying down. Here comes Kim and Kroy with their messy ass divorce. Like the details and the allegations and the headlines, they just keep going and flowing. And I feel like I can hardly keep up with it because Kim's saying one thing, Kroy saying the other thing, and they're both accusing each other of lying about the things they're saying.
It's that Spider-Man meme where they're all the Spider-Mans are pointing at one another, and it's like, wait, who's what? It is funny. I saw Ebony K. Williams from Roni fame. She did a podcast episode about them and just called it White Mess, the Kim and Kroy story, which did make me laugh.
That is good. No, it is a big white mess. And we recently chatted to two people who are close to Kim Zolciak, her friend Shereé Whitfield from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, who is on the current cast
Mhm.
and who's excited for Kim to make a little. I know she's no longer holding a peach, but she is making a cameo on season 15. So we have that to look forward to. And we also talked to Carlos King, who used to be an executive producer on The Real Housewives of Atlanta and is still very close to Kim Zolciak. So we got their takes on this messy divorce, and they had some interesting things to say.
Interesting things to say, and also did not realize Carlos set up Kim and Kroy basically. So he really knows.
Yeah. A while back, you hosted this incredible Atlanta OG reunion with Kim Zolciak, Lisa Wu, like all the girls were there for the most part. And so I'm curious to get your thoughts on Kim and Kroy breaking up. Were you shocked?
Beyond. That was not on my bingo card. Listen, I would say Shereé would marry Martell before Kim would divorce Kroy. So on my late night show, when I reunited the OGs, Nene wasn't available, but she was invited. Make that clear. Okay. So Kroy was there. He was in the green room. And the thing with Kim and Kroy is always with Kim.
Yeah.
It was business as usual. They looked happy. It was as if nothing ever was happening. It was a close set. She said, Carlos, bitch, Kroy has to come. I'm like, fine, girl. So Kroy was standing behind the camera guy. I made sure Kim understood. We want you to feel comfortable. I did not predict this. And now I'm reading all about these crazy accusations. And I'm like, this is not the Kim and Kroy that I hooked up. Now I did hook that up.
You did? Oh my God. So you were there when she went over and was talking about his butt and all that. Like that was you? Oh, so then you must have been particularly devastated when you heard about the breakup.
Have you talked to her at all? After the news came out?
This is the thing that I know about Kim. So some housewives need a minute. Yeah. Because think about it, they're bombarded with all the press calling them, the friends calling them, the family. Yeah. And I don't want to be another person bombarding her. So I wanted things to remain quiet because I thought things would be quiet after a week. I'm like, damn, bitch, y'all saying all this craziness. It's crazier now than it was a month ago. So I'm waiting for things to die down before I reach out, but she knows how much I love her. I said it on my podcast, and I know she listens to it. But I plan on taking her out to dinner and just making sure that she and I have some one-on-one time.
How do you think your friendship with Kroy will be after the dust settles? Do you feel like you'll have to take sides in this situation?
Yeah.
Okay. We're Team Kim Z.
Yeah. Duh. I would have to. So look, I'm a very loyal person. And at the end of the day, I've known Kim for 4 years prior to her meeting Kroy. And I love Kroy. And I'm never going to bash Kroy. I'm never going to say anything crass about him. He's a great person, a great father. But my loyalty will always lie with Kim. Always.
Well, I'm excited about this season because it looks like we're going to get some appearances from OGs like Cynthia, Kim Zolciak. I love that the girls are getting back in the mix, especially Kim. I'm interested to see what she brings to the show, especially as her marriage is unraveling in the press and in the public eye. Shereé, what is your reaction to Kim and Kroy breaking up?
I mean, I didn't see it coming. I absolutely did not see it coming. I imagined Kim and Kroy old and grandkids and never breaking up. I don't think anyone saw that coming. They just seemed like the perfect couple. So I have talked to her and I know she's going through it. It's a tough time, especially with it so much, and being public. It's hard. It's hard. And I don't know.
What has she said to you in your conversations post breakup?
It's a lot. It's difficult. She's dealing with a lot. She has a kid. She has, a lot of kids. And, just really trying to be strong for the kids. But at the same time, you're going through so much. And, I was there with her. And I've done it before. And it's not fun. And it's not easy.
And it's so hard too that because it's like you were saying, I think this shocks so many people because they just seem so in love and they loved so well. But then it's that thing where the emotions run so high, it seems like, because now every day there's like a new thing that someone's doing online or XYZ. It seems like it's getting a little bit more messy than I would assume they would want it to get too.
Yeah. And I hate that part. I hate that and I told her this too. And somebody told me this a long time ago. And I realized that, once going through my divorce, that the person that you marry sometimes can be a totally different person than the person you divorce. And I hope they do not, I just want it to stop. I want them to, deal with, whatever they have to deal with more privately, because it can get really, really messy. And I've heard it's already getting, kind of messy. And
yeah, do you think this is the right time for Kim to possibly snatch that peach back? I'm ready for her to come back to the Housewives full time.
Me too. Did you call Andy?
Let's get him on the Zoom right now.
Let's get him on the Zoom. Let's get him on the Zoom. We all know Kim Zolciak is good TV.
What did she bring to season 15 when she was in front of the cameras? Like, what can you tease about her appearance?
Well, we always have a good time. We're going to, I can't say too much, but yeah, you'll see fun Kim. You'll see fun Kim.
Okay. Love that. Love fun Kim.
And while you can listen to those two interviews coming up shortly, Evan, you also have to fill me in because you talked to Larsa and her boy.
It felt like a fever dream getting the opportunity to sit on Zoom with Larsa Pippen and her man, Marcus Jordan, because they have kept their relationship, or they've made a pretty solid attempt to keep their relationship under wraps and off camera. But now they are not only filming the next season of The Real Housewives of Miami together, they've got a new podcast called Separation Anxiety. So they it's about how they can't live without each other. So they are going full throttle as a celebrity couple. They start out their podcast talking about #Larkus.
Oh, it's Larkus now.
It's Larkus season.
I mean, as Larsa says, let's get it popping.
Yeah, no, they certainly got it popping. We talked about a bunch of stuff. Obviously, we talked about their relationship, and they're closer to marriage than you would expect. But I guess it makes sense because now that they've got the foot on the gas, like they are accelerating. Apparently, they want to have serious talks about marriage in the near future.
I don't think Gertie's going to be planning that wedding, but...
Well, she did give me an update on her friendship with Gertie as well, after Gertie called her the fakest housewife of them all at our live event for Virtual Reality back in February. So there have been some updates and some movement in their friendship, which was good to hear. But then Larsa also shaded some of the Miami ladies for crying fake tears, and the only person she didn't name her by name, but the only person I can think that she's talking about is Dr. Nicole.
Agent Dr. N, okay. Ooh, I mean, they really, I don't feel will ever click, so I cannot wait to hear what she had to say.
How likely is it that you could become Larsa Jordan? Do you guys talk about marriage? I know that the second you realized you were meant for each other, things started to move fast. You said, I love you, Marcus, in like less than 10 days. So what's going on? Are we talking marriage yet?
I mean, you can answer that.
I mean, I feel like we're approaching a year in our relationship, so it's still fairly new, and we're obviously moving at top speed. But I think at some point, we haven't really seriously sat down and had that conversation. I think it's been more so as I start to meet your friends and you meet my friends, it gets brought up in those group settings. And so I think at some point here in the near future, we'll sit down and have a serious conversation about it.
Okay, I love that. I'm hoping that maybe we can see an engagement and a wedding on The Real Housewives of Miami. Larsa, how would you feel about getting married on TV?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
I don't know. I just don't think so. I don't think. Do you think so?
I don't think they could afford it. No, I'm joking. I think look, my family is very private, and so I think if we were to tie the knot, I don't think it would happen on camera.
I see. Speaking of your family, Marcus, I'm just curious. does your dad watch The Real Housewives? Is he familiar with Larsa's work as a mojito holder?
Absolutely not. I
Oh.
mean, my dad's a busy guy. He doesn't watch any type of reality TV. And so, maybe one of these days when we get together as a family, I'll try to, get him to watch an episode or two that I'm on.
Larsa, where do you and Michael Jordan connect? Because that I would love to be a fly on the wall for conversations between Larsa Pippen and Michael Jordan.
I mean, we really don't have those conversations. Like, we really, I'm like, I don't have conversations with them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, looking forward to the future, have you guys thought about, Michael and Scotty in the same room? I know that there's always so much speculation and conversation around that. What are the conversations like between you two? And will we learn more about that dynamic on the podcast?
I feel like there's not really anything that's like, I think people want to make it worse than it actually is. And I'm sure there's like feelings that have been hurt, but I don't feel like that has anything to do with us or.
Yeah, I feel like for us, we're trying to stand on our own 2 feet and really establish ourselves both independently, but also as a couple. And so we let them handle their business and we handle ours. Yeah,
totally. Well, I feel like you two you have such a good vibe surrounding you. If anything, I feel like you two could be like a conduit for peace.
I mean, listen,
you never know.
We're in a good place. We only want to put positivity out there and give good energy. I feel like that's.
I agree.